The Galactic Concord had long believed emotions were a biological defect, something to be cured, not cultivated. Entire species had eradicated rage from their DNA, proud of their pacified civilizations. So when humanity arrived, yelling, laughing, arguing, and somehow thriving, the galaxy collectively booked an appointment with confusion. And when Earth invited them to observe something called an anger management class, curiosity became a full-blown interstellar event. The visitors came in peace, notebooks ready, expecting to witness the final step in humanity's emotional rehabilitation. Instead, they were greeted by Coach Ramirez, a stocky human with caffeine in his bloodstream and disappointment in his eyes. "Welcome to emotional regulation, space nerds," he barked. The aliens flinched. The class began with humans describing what made them angry: traffic, politics, Wi-Fi, and other horrors beyond alien comprehension. The aliens recorded diligently, whispering about Earth's advanced rage cataloging system. Then came the exercises. Humans practiced controlled yelling. They took turns shouting their frustrations into rubber cones, while others clapped supportively. An alien diplomat from the TZ Cree Collective fainted when a human screamed, "I am valid," at full volume. Later, a group activity called pillow combat therapy turned into what the observers classified as low-scale melee warfare. Coach Ramirez strode between them, shouting things like "breathe through the fury" and "anger is just passion with bad PR." The humans nodded in enlightened rage, punching pillows with the grace of philosophers. The aliens watched, horrified and fascinated. To them, this wasn't therapy, it was combat disguised as mindfulness. By the end, one alien whispered, "They weaponize emotions." Another replied, trembling, "No, they refine them." Humanity dismissed the class, calm and smiling, sipping water like nothing happened. The aliens left in silence, unaware that they had just witnessed the deadliest form of peacekeeping ever invented, the controlled human temper. The Drulke Empire had always considered themselves masters of self-control. Their soldiers were bred to suppress all emotion, stoic, efficient, eerily polite. After observing humans shout themselves into serenity, the Drulke concluded that humanity's so-called anger management was not emotional therapy, but a structured power ritual. And if humans could weaponize emotion, then by the stars, so could they. Their first anger management academy opened with the precision of a military parade. Students were taught to identify emotional disturbance stimuli, translation, anything mildly annoying, suppress the urge to react, and chant compliance mantras like, "I am calm," "I am order," "I am superior." It worked beautifully until it didn't. Within 3 days, 30 cadets spontaneously combusted from internalized irritation. By the end of the week, an entire battleship was in therapy after a junior officer sneezed during the admiral's mantra recital. The humans, upon hearing this, sent what they claimed was helpful supplementary material. It was a 600-page module titled Advanced Rage Expression, Sarcasm 101. The Drulke mistook sarcasm for a dialect and began literal translations. "Nice job," one hissed after a failed experiment, genuinely believing it meant encouragement. Galactic linguists spent months trying to decode why humans use compliments as threats. Meanwhile, the Federation of Vol attempted a rage transfer ceremony where participants yelled into glowing orbs meant to contain fury. The orbs exploded. The resulting shockwave was declared emotionally educational. Every alien civilization that tried to mimic human emotion management ended up hosting galactic-scale group breakdowns. One ambassador summarized the chaos best: "Humans don't suppress emotions. They marinate in them." Yet humanity remained polite, offering to send certified instructors to help. The Concord refused, terrified that certified meant armed with feelings. Humanity just smiled, and that was, apparently, the most threatening gesture of all. Word of humanity's success in structured fury enlightenment spread faster than a caffeinated meme. Soon, entire civilizations were hosting their own group venting sessions, proudly announcing they'd mastered the art of emotional release. The problem was they hadn't asked how loud humans got when venting. The first session was held by the Urox Dominion, whose species communicated primarily through scent. They tried to exhale their frustrations the human way. The result? A biohazard event so severe that 3 moons were evacuated due to toxic pheromone clouds of suppressed disappointment. The Drolke tried again, introducing a controlled outburst chamber designed to contain anger. It did, right until someone mentioned bureaucracy. The explosion was recorded as a seismic event across 5 systems. Human instructors, amused and only slightly concerned, began intergalactic workshops to help the galaxy yell properly. Their curriculum included therapeutic shouting, destructive art as meditation, and the sacred art of flipping a table without losing your job. For the first time in known history, alien diplomats were encouraged to scream at one another, and it worked, sort of. Galactic politics became louder, but far more honest. The highlight of this era was the emergence of pillow combat therapy, where participants were encouraged to resolve disputes using oversized, feather-filled weapons. On planet Znur, one such session escalated into what historians later dubbed the Great Pillow Uprising. Entire cities were blanketed, literally. The casualties were mostly pride and feathers. By now, the galaxy had stopped calling it anger management and started calling it human emotional warfare training. Aliens began decorating rage rooms with motivational quotes like, "Don't bottle it. Throw it." Humanity watched their once chaotic coping mechanism turn into a universal export. Every species was venting, screaming, and occasionally crying, finally free, finally unhinged, and, ironically, finally peaceful. The Galactic Concord decided it was time to get serious. The anger renaissance, as the humans sarcastically called it, had spread across the stars like an emotional contagion. Entire governments were hosting public meltdowns in the name of self-expression. Something had to be done. So, in a rare act of unity, the Concord organized an emotional resilience summit, inviting representatives from all known species, and, with mild hesitation, humanity. The summit began with holographic banners reading, "Peace through calm communication." Humans entered late, sipping coffee, looking far too relaxed for a conference about rage. When Coach Ramirez took the stage, every alien in the room braced for a speech about serenity and balance. Instead, he cracked his knuckles and said, "Repeat after me. I am angry, and that's okay." Thousands of delegates froze. Some tried repeating the words, but choked halfway through. The idea of acknowledging anger violated centuries of cultural programming. Ramirez continued, pacing like a motivational predator. "Breathe in the nonsense. Exhale the stupidity. Congratulations, you're now 3% more human." The first open mic session was catastrophic. The crystalline ambassador from the Varn Empire tried expressing mild irritation and shattered into pieces. The telepathic learn began screaming mentally, accidentally broadcasting decades of workplace resentment across 12 galaxies. The Kareth military delegation took the concept of venting literally, discharging plasma bursts in rhythmic fury until the ceiling collapsed. By the end of the day, the Concord's Peace Hall looked like a therapy battlefield. Yet amid the chaos, something shifted. The delegates weren't fighting each other anymore. They were yelling together, laughing, crying, even high-fiving through tears. Coach Ramirez just sipped his coffee and said, "See, that's teamwork." The summit concluded with humanity unanimously voted least stable yet most effective peacekeepers. The Concord's new slogan, "We feel, therefore we don't explode." Humans just shrugged. It wasn't the first time they'd saved the galaxy by accident. Galactic history divides itself neatly into 2 eras now, before humans and after the incident at the Emotional Resilience Summit. What began as an experiment in therapeutic shouting evolved into a full-scale cultural reformation. The Concord, once a monument to restraint and composure, suddenly found itself filled with creatures proudly declaring, "I am furious," and that's personal growth. New policies were drafted overnight. Emotional suppression was officially banned under the Sapient Sentience Preservation Act. Rage rooms became mandatory in workplaces. Starships were equipped with venting decks, where officers could scream into the void as part of routine maintenance. Even the most bureaucratic species, the Viarine, replaced their centuries-old meditation domes with feedback zones, basically padded chambers where employees threw things at walls while discussing productivity. The humans, of course, were horrified and flattered. Their accidental export of controlled chaos had reshaped diplomacy. Galactic summits now opened with open-mic confessionals. Treaties began with group therapy. Empires that once waged thousand-year wars now solved disputes by yelling until someone cried and then hugging it out. One alien historian summed it up: humanity didn't bring peace. They made rage fashionable. Coach Ramirez, now universally known as the prophet of productive fury, received honorary citizenship in 12 systems and at least 3 restraining orders from planets not yet ready for that level of enlightenment. Humanity was awarded the Interstellar Peace Prize for helping the galaxy stop pretending to be calm. The humans accepted graciously, then immediately argued over who should give the speech. By the end of the century, every star system had adopted the same motto carved into their public halls, ships, and hearts. It's not about avoiding anger. It's about wielding it responsibly. The galaxy had finally learned that peace wasn't the absence of fury. It was the mastery of it, the human way.